Most people plan retirement like a spreadsheet, and then they fail in the airport. Not because they ran out of money, because they ran out of rhythm. They retire, they travel hard for 3 months, and suddenly they're exhausted, frustrated, and weirdly disappointed. So today I'm going to show you the retirement planning test nobody talks about, especially if your dream is to travel. And near the end, I'll share the single mistake that shows up after your first long trip, the one that quietly makes people say, maybe retiring was a bad idea. By the end of this video, you'll be able to score yourself on a simple retirement travel readiness checklist, 7 reality checks that tell you if you're truly ready to retire, not just financially, but emotionally, physically, and practically. And if you're not ready yet, you'll know exactly what to fix with a 90-day runway plan, so retirement becomes the best stage of life, not the most confusing one. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. A lot of people hit the number and still lose the plot. They exit work and they think freedom will automatically feel good. But freedom without structure feels like floating. And floating sounds relaxing until you realize you're drifting. So let's do this properly. The Retirement Travel Readiness Score. I want you to think of this as a score out of 7. As we go, you'll give yourself 1 point for each one you genuinely pass. Not maybe, not I hope, real pass or fail. If you score 0 to 3, you're not ready yet, at least not for the retirement you're imagining. If you score 4 to 5, you're close, but you need a runway. If you score 6 to 7, you're in a great position. Now it becomes about designing it. And by the way, you don't need to be 65. You don't need to follow society's timeline. Your retirement has to match your reality. Let's start. Purpose and identity layer. Number 1, reality check. Are you retiring to something or just retiring from something? This is the biggest red flag. If your retirement plan is mostly an escape plan, you're at risk. A lot of people say, I'm retiring because my job is stressful. My boss is toxic. I can't take the pressure anymore. I just want peace. I understand that. But here's the problem. If you retire from something and you don't retire to something, you don't get peace. You get a vacuum. And a vacuum always gets filled. Sometimes with boredom. Sometimes with anxiety, sometimes with health issues you suddenly notice because you finally slowed down, sometimes with arguments at home because you're together all day with no structure. So here's the test. Complete this sentence out loud. I'm excited to retire because I want to, and then fill the blank. Not with a vague answer like relax. Give specifics. Where will you go? How will you spend a normal Tuesday? What will make you feel progress? What will make you feel proud? Because travel alone is not purpose. Travel is amazing, but travel is a season, not a foundation. You still need something underneath it. If you can clearly answer that question, give yourself 1 point. If your answer is mostly, I just want to stop working, that's a fail for now. And that's okay. It just means you need a runway. Number 2. Are you losing the 3 life nutrients without realizing it? Most people don't miss work, they miss what work gave them. And it usually comes down to 3 nutrients: connection, people who see you, talk to you, need you; contribution, a feeling that what you do matters to someone; challenge, a reason to learn, to stay sharp, to keep improving. When you retire, those 3 can disappear overnight. And if you don't replace them, retirement feels empty, even if it looks perfect on paper. Now, here's where retirement travel becomes tricky, because travel can temporarily give you all 3. Connection, you meet people, you talk, you explore. Challenge, new places, new routes, problem solving. Contribution, sometimes you feel inspired and helpful. But then you come home. And the question becomes, what does life look like when you're not in the vacation version of yourself? So the test is simple. Do you already have at least 2 reliable sources of these 3 nutrients outside of work? For example, a community group you actually attend, A hobby that has structure, not just when I feel like it. Mentoring someone, volunteering once a week, building something, blog, YouTube channel, local club, anything. If you're relying on travel alone to fill the holes, you're going to feel a crash after the honeymoon phase. If you already have your replacements, give yourself 1 point. Number 3, reality check. Do you have a Monday plan? This is the one nobody talks about, because retirement isn't a vacation, it's a life, and life is made of Mondays. Let me paint a picture. A man retires at 62. He and his wife planned a travel-first retirement. They did Southeast Asia for 2 months. Dream trip. Everything looked perfect. But halfway through the trip, he started getting irritated. Not at the place, at the spending. Every time they booked a hotel, every time they ate out, every time they paid for transport. His wife felt it, and now she couldn't enjoy the trip either. When they came home, he said something that surprised even him. Maybe I retired too early. They had enough money. That wasn't the issue. The issue was he didn't know their burn rate and they still had debt payments. So travel turned into a daily negotiation, and daily negotiation kills joy. That's why these boring checks matter. Now you might be thinking, okay, purpose, budgeting, debt, fine, I can handle that. But here's what most people don't expect. The real retirement travel killer isn't money. It's not even health. It's something quieter, and it usually shows up after your first long trip. I'll reveal it in a few minutes. But first, we need the next 2 reality checks, because these determine whether travel makes retirement better or makes it harder. Chunk 3. This is where retirement planning finally gets real, because travel exposes everything you didn't design properly. Not in dramatic ways, in small, daily frictions, and those frictions compound. Number 6. Do you understand your energy curve, not just your calendar? Here's the mistake most people make. They plan retirement travel like they're still 45. They think in terms of time and money. They forget about energy. In your working years, your body runs on routine. You wake up, you move, you're stimulated, you're needed. When that structure disappears, your energy pattern changes. Now add travel. Early flights, jet lag, different beds, different food, long walking days, irregular sleep. At first, it's exciting. Then your body starts sending signals, and most people ignore those signals because they think, I waited my whole life for this. I should be enjoying it. Number 7. This one is delicate, but it matters more than any spreadsheet. A huge number of retirement disappointments aren't financial, they're relational. One person wants slow travel, long stays, coffee shops, walking neighborhoods. The other wants movement, tours, ticking off destinations. One person wants structure, the other wants freedom. One person wants to downsize and simplify, the other wants comfort and familiarity. While you're working, these differences don't show up much because you're busy. In retirement, they show up every day, especially on the road. So the test is simple but powerful. Can you both describe your ideal retirement week, and they actually match? Not perfectly, but philosophically. Pace, spending style, social needs, privacy needs, risk tolerance. If you've had those conversations and you've adjusted expectations, give yourself 1 point. If not, this is not something to figure out later, because later is when resentment quietly builds.